Boy, it's hard to beat that blue Texas sky and those fresh white blooms on the wild pear persimmon trees. I guess some old dogwood trees ain't too far behind. Hey y'all, midweek check-in, missed the weekend. Just too much going on, I guess, so thought I'd jump on here and check in. We got a string of sunny days ahead, at least through Monday, I think. And then the rain shouldn't be too bad, but things are dry enough to do a little work out here in the field, I suppose. 46 today here in Nacogdoches. Saw somebody say, I've heard it before, is that a hot 46 or a cold 46? That's when you know a Texan's talking to a Texan. So I guess it's kind of a cool 46. Had my jacket on, but get to working a little bit and things change. I think I'll spare that old tree over there. It's not in my garden path. I pulled a switcheroo on this poor thing here last fall or late summer. Jordan and I came out here and trimmed up a lot of these underbrush and some of the vines that were taking over the trees. Hate to kill that muscadine, but it's just time to go. So this poor old tree thought it was out of the woods, so to speak, and started blooming, only to be cut down today. It's got to go. Put some big old thorns on it. Actually, it's in the way of my garden progress. It'll go to 200 feet this year, and that was dead center. I had about 3 of them we needed to take down, so we got that done. And I'll plow around the stump, as they say, until I can get that stump up. But yeah, I guess I'm committed now. If I'm going to cut something down, I got to do something better to replace it. So that commits me to the whole row. But lo and behold, I had to mow it again. Something's wrong when you're mowing the garden twice in 3 weeks, right? But we started breaking ground. My old back's had a little spasm in it the last few days, and I guess I should be in there on the heating pad, but I never saw Memo slow down. So I figured I'd just plow through it. I actually feel better moving around. Sometimes you get steel and stove up. Y'all ever heard that, stove up? That's an old one, isn't it? Well, the eggs are back on parade for all my local friends that kind of been on a dry spell as it happens this time of year. But I think I pulled 24 yesterday and 20 today, so they're getting it done. But beautiful on the place. Hoping those potatoes aren't drowned. I tilled down the middle of the rows to kill some of the weeds, but we'll check them here probably by the weekend. Dig down a little bit, see if we got a little sprout coming or if they're going to rot and have to replant. Got some of them big old 10-15 onions in, so that's good. Here comes the old Bo checking in on things. I'm sure all of you are curious about the puppy. I've had several messages, and he's still with us. I can't say he's better, but I can't say he's worse either. He's eating and performing all bodily functions. Doesn't seem to be in pain. He'll get up and walk around a little bit in the house, but I think he's been a little bit depressed. So I pulled him out here yesterday. Of course, they like this cool weather and it wasn't freezing, and let him hang out with Mom and his sister overnight. And he's faring well, getting some sunshine today, but just still weak, needs to put on some weight. But we're working on it. I'm going to take him back in tonight. I think his outside time for now is done. He's not moving a whole lot over there, but I'm going to let nature take its course on that until I can, if he's in pain or stops any of the bodily functions, then we'll have to make a decision. But until then, we're going to just move right along. What are you smelling there, Bo? Huh? Been in there with them chickens. He's checking things out. Well, I hope y'all are having a good week and things are smooth and enjoying this weather. Some of you seen some of the Alamo posts. Of course, I'm a history nut. I learned that back in, I guess, midway through high school. My granddad kind of instilled that into me. History is important, even short-term history. I learned a little bit from it, even practically, after fighting 2 big old chicken snakes in that feed room last year. I hadn't seen one this year. But then the time goes by that I don't ease in there. It could be freezing out, and I know there ain't one in there, but I don't just bust in there anymore. So I guess that's learning from history. But the Alamo and that struggle was always a fascination point for me. I know other states have their own history to study, but being blessed to have been born in Texas and raised, of course, we get a lot of that coming up through grade school and even a little bit of high school, and study the founding of what was a country and the struggle for independence. And Alamo played a big piece in that bloodbath it was. But under a dictatorship, and Texians and other folks got together and tried to push back, and we finally won it. But did a study, oratory study a few years back, and just feel obligated to share that every year. And I enjoy listening to it and reading it each year. It's just kind of a digest of all the different sources that are out there. This day and tomorrow is one of the kind of a lull as it gets up to it, but still strikes me how this big old battalion, well, I say big, probably about 200 or 300 men had to leave right in the middle of spring planting, which is what I'm doing. Leave all the women and children to it and take off, and they didn't get far out of town and broke down. And cold front blew on them, pretty much like this, and woke up freezing. Man, they didn't have the luxury of just running up and down the road with state-of-the-art stuff. It was a struggle. So, different breed of men back then, I think. We learned from it, right? Sometimes it's good just to do quiet action than a bunch of loud words. I've learned that here recently with all the hullabaloo on everything, and I start to react or do something on Facebook and stop, and I guess I'm growing up a little bit. I don't think anything's won on arguments on Facebook. I know that ain't. So I just keep to myself on that, do what I do, and try to go from there, right? Well, let me do a quick roll call. I think that 46 is starting to turn a little cool now that I've stopped working. So I went from a hot 46 to a cool 46. Let's go find my jacket and start heading toward the evening chores. May run out and look at them goat critters that we've got selected. Get closer to that and the turkeys here within the next month or so. So excited for that. They're cute little boogers. I think it's a buck and 2 nannies. So we'll see. They've got names, but we may do some little alterations on them. We'll make a call on y'all to help with that once we get them. Let me check off here. I got that sun in my eyes, and let's see what I can find on these few folks slipping off at work with their headphones on so the boss can't see. Don't forget to get your work done now. It's almost 5. There's Angela checking in. Carrie saying howdy. Charlotte, let's see, West Tennessee. Spitting snow off and on in 37. I guess that's cold 37 up there. There's Maria checking in. How are you, ma'am? A good friend Mike out California way. There's Cheryl. Looks beautiful there and happy. Finally caught you live. Well, yeah, it's lots of history in that whole era. But y'all have a good evening. Be the light, and maybe tone down the rhetoric a little bit. Just walk it. Right? Okay, Bo. All right, you want to say hello again? There you go. Let's see, do it this way. There we go. They're doing fine. All right, y'all have a good evening. Be the light. We'll talk to you later.